deixa passar. A frieza do argentino e agora sim. Pega o primeiro, pega o segundo.
Ali o Tex caminhando para esse ponto A mesmo. E agora chega a Tizin, 4 kills para ele, ponto do BBR.
And MIBR stepped into the ring, some might say. God, that's so ring. Big win, though, for MIBR on Lotus. Welcome back, everyone. GB alongside with Alina.
Who the heck is Alina?
I don't know. It just came out. But also, okay, come on. Anyway, and that's Mimi and Ender. Yeah, well, I mean, like I said before, though, MIBR, first map win of the regular season, a massive accomplishment for them, especially considering bringing in, 2 new players into the fray here. But we do have to address, the elephant in the room, I think. Loud simply just did not play up to the level that we saw last time from this team, Mimi, on Lotus. And it was a little disappointing to see, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, this map for Loud, it really feels like it was below the level that we normally expect from this squad. So many of these late rounds where players are off, they're taking individual fights. It felt like they were heavily reliant on Cowanzine to win a lot of these rounds in late round clutch hero moments. I felt like the way they were utilizing the Neon, especially on the attacking side, so many rounds they were entrenching Sadok into specific areas of the map and then rotating away and hitting a site completely without him and just getting shut down. It was a lot of mistakes combining that MIBR, to their credit, did take advantage of to get that win. But this was not the Loud we're used to.
No, but I also don't think it comes out of nowhere either, because they were playing very similar on Ascent. They were just winning a lot more of those individual fights that they were taking. Like, it wasn't just a macro problem. I think a lot of it was just their actual ability to lock in and play the game that we know Loud should be able to play.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of saw a glimpse of that at the end of Ascent, where Loud just started to lose their marbles a little bit. And now going into this Lotus, the way that they're playing their defense, they weren't so strong on their retakes. They weren't so put together as we kind of saw towards the first half of Ascent. And so for me, watching Loud play, it looked a little lackluster, but I do think MIBR did put up a really good fight. I feel like MIBR themselves looked a lot better on their attack than they did on that Ascent.
Yeah, you could definitely get the vibe that this team is certainly, starting to feel it a little bit here, but there's still so much that MIBR would need to do in order to be able to lock up this win here. I mean, Cowanzine, you were talking about it before, guys, absolutely popped off. But it does go back to, the problem that they were having in that last game, where it was a ton of individual moments, a ton of individual times to shine. But when it came down to the coordination, when it came down to needing to be able to execute on some of those bigger moments that they have set up there, they just weren't there.
I just quickly will have to shout out the rookies. Rich ends up as match MVP in this one, absolutely showing up in that second half of the fade. And then Paula's first half in particular was lights out, consistently finding the openers. Had a couple of big ult plays. There was the one missed one, but every ult besides that was getting pretty high value on their execs.
And I think the way that MIBR were playing, especially for a team that has had little practice, I think the first half we saw some of the post-plant protocols not quite up to what you would expect from a team who had the full time to prep for VCT, but they played really well together. These new guys were both having their own moments, and they didn't give those opportunities in a lot of these rounds. I think in the way that they were on Ascent, to let someone like Tui's in the late round go and get a multi-kill, swing alone. They were really aware of when they were trading, when they were playing together. It wasn't a crazy game plan or great macro that won them the game, but it was playing solid, fundamental Valorant with some good individual performances while their opponent was making mistakes that they punished.
I mean, we literally talked about their Ascent. They lost a lot of rounds because they weren't able to crossfire in their post-plant situations. But on Lotus, they looked great. They looked like they knew exactly what they were doing in majority of their post-plant situations. They knew how to put a wrench in a lot of Loud's retake scenarios, and it felt a lot different. I mean, if they could do that on Ascent, I think they would have run away with it. But it looks like they just,
there's a chance of that.
I mean, a team being able to switch up like that from map 1 to map 2 and being able to work on those mistakes is a huge other thing, a huge other benefit that they could get coming into the third map.
And we're going into a third map of Sunset, and this is where I want to take a little bit of a different approach to how we're talking about Loud, because they're playing Neon on Sunset again, and Sadok got on in that game. Like,
Yeah, he
it
got
was
trounced. He got
rough.
trounced.
Yeah.
It was rough. Like, he ended up with like 9 kills at the end, but the
Yeah.
first half, I think he had 2 kills
Yes.
in
Yeah.
the entire half. And on Sunset, he got shut out again by Evil Geniuses when they played against them just last week. Like,
And I think
he
you were
has
looking
to
for
turn it around.
the
He
term
has to turn
food
it
on.
around.
I think you were looking for that one. Food on.
Food on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably would have been the better option there. But yeah, Sadak would
Oh,
definitely.
did my
was-
mic cut out?
I mean, there definitely was. You didn't see that same output from Sadak that we got from the last time. That we saw him play here. But to your point, though, I think it really does goes to show. It's like this MIBR team. Even though they're coming into this one at a bit of a deficit and prep and all that stuff, you still can't sleep on it.
We talked a lot about the slow, methodical Neon that Sadak was giving us, but it looked so good to see Paula on that raise. And I think bringing that momentum onto the next map is going to be really good for them, too, because you still have this slow, decisive, kind of util-heavy character versus Paula, who was just getting first blood after first blood and opening for his team.
Yeah, the rookies, again, locking in that duo of the Initiator and the Duelist. I love to see Paula back on that race. I want to shout out Mazine, though. He was really good in that last map. He was great in week 1 for MIBR as well. And I think he's actually had some super impactful calls throughout this one. For Loud, though, I mean, it's got to be a complete 180 from that second game. This would be their first loss to another Brazilian team.
Yeah, would be wild. Of course, it's map 3. Can MIBR shatter Loud's perfect record against Brazilian teams? Let's go ahead and find out and send it back over to Doug and Baby Bay for the call.
Thank you so much, Golden Boy. I think the desk set it up very nicely. As much as we've talked about history and records and the trajectory that both of these teams have had to get here, I think a lot of the questions right now turn towards Sadak. Back on the Neon again.
Yeah.
He struggled on Lotus. But Dre, this is a different comp. I think the Breach lends itself to a little bit more chaos on the side of Neon.
Yeah, it should definitely enable him a bit more, but on the flip side, Paula, he looked so good on that raise. He went 8 first kills, 4 first deaths. Yeah, he didn't go crazy positive, but it doesn't matter. He's doing his job and then some. And he was saving his utility on the post plants as well. He had nade a couple times still, so he's doing this all without having to invest a bunch of his own utility, which if MIBR play their cards properly, if he has a nade, I mean, most notably on any type of freaking post plant, he's chilling. Excuse me.
You're going to get fined for that.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. Apologies.
Right there.
It's Screwface. He got me good yesterday. He just got back in the dome. My bad.
MIBR on the attacking side. Dizzy just creeping over, but Rich managing to stay alive for a little bit longer, take some damage. The spike still sitting really far back as MIBR feeling the map out.
Yeah, and such aggressive A space already gathered. It is a retake here at A, so I'm wondering if MIBR are going to play this post plant a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more in your face, knowing that if they allow Loud to set up, it's pretty much disaster. And yeah, Loud already have an idea that this is happening. They re-cleared mid without making any noise. And there's no trip on this flank. Cam is still up in the back of elbow.
Artsine, you can see Spidey senses tingling a little bit. Puts the cam up, turns around, but now understands there's pressure coming in from the other side. Meanwhile, Les striking just when the iron is hot as Artsine falls. They've gotten the spike down, but they've lost a couple members along the way. Sadak very weak here.
And yes, MIBR have control of spawn right now, but it's not planted for them. So this space, it's not the best to be gathered, but they kind of have to. They're left with no other devices.
Rich is in a really tough spot here. He's gonna have to request help. MIBR has to come back and assist him as Liazzi falls. Paula not able to settle, not able to be steady. Rich on the swing, gets one with him, but that's all it is. Mazine left in a 1v3. 2E's has already gotten the defuse to half. No real challenge. They've bullied him away from stopping the defuse. Loud, get the pistol.
That was such a cool pistol round setup from start to finish. That deep camera in elbow, and then a trip basically holding all of lane walk up, and then the protocol to re-walk down mid. It allows for that crunch to happen from the back so well because that late camera that pops up, it basically forces Artson to be put in such a bad spot. Who are you gonna fight? The Neon behind you with the Gecko, or are you gonna run into lane that's not smoked off and there's just 2 players dialed in on you?
Yeah.
So a really nicely set up round.
Yeah, both of those options suck. There's no good option there, 1000%.
It's tough.
And so Loud with a couple of Bulldogs into this round. 2E's is already fallen.
And wait a second. Paula, who couldn't connect any of those Sheriff shots in the previous round, he does it this time around against what is pretty much a full buy from the side of Loud. And he gets out alive. 6 HP.
Spike drop. But he's still alive and kicking. That might be slowing things down a little bit. Ooh, almost getting punished there.
Kaozin looking snappy with it. He had a 50% headshot rate on the last map. No surprise. I mean, he was getting so many of those kills.
Loud have a lot of presence here towards B.
Yeah, the problem right now is if no one breaks this Gecko eye for Sadak, he might get punished here. We've seen this happen time and time again. That's a nice entry.
He might, but Kawanzin's able to turn it, hit the fault line just like that. And that's such a good setup.
Spike down B.
Kawanzin's position there was perfect. He was mainly concerned about helping out across the middle of the map, but as soon as there was a hit and there was contact B, he could drop the fault line. That delayed the entire hit from MIBR.
Wow. As all that happened, Liazi, he took that free real estate up middle, and now he gets that kill. It's a 3v1 for MIBR.
Spike planted.
Pancada with the Bulldog in hand, 2 smokes, no flash. None of the members on the side of MIBR have any armor. Rich is already down to 12 HP. But for Pancada, it's going to take a lot more than just that. And MIBR are so smart with how they're playing this. Look at that. They're not giving him any fights. They're taking big steps back. Understanding that there are safety valves, 3 of them built into this round. And Pancada has no choice but to go hunting and trying to find targets. A sidestep of the fall line, but at this point, I mean, it's done. Wow. What a response from MIBR.
In what shots to be landed? That was ridiculous. We got to see a highlight of all these Sheriff one-taps over. Les, he just got absolutely obliterated. This, oh my gosh. Oh,
that was very
so
nice.
Clean. Right here, I thought for a second it was going to be a cosmetic stun moment for sure.
I mean, it was. It definitely was. I mean,
big shout out to Liazi amongst all that chaos that happened at B main to just walk all the way up mid, take all that space, and basically secure the round for them.
Les, the only one with a rifle. Meanwhile, the buy on MIBR side is so nice. Full armor, full rifles. Sadak's already down.
Man. Ooh.
Remember, that's only Vandal on the side of Cloud. And it hits the ground.
It's a 4v2 just like that.
2, he's able to scoop things up. But there's, I mean, the problem with this situation right now is MIBR has so many tools to stop any sort of attempted sneak deny, or defuse, excuse me. And you're done. Paul is the first to fall, though. Wingman will help. They don't have any smokes. They don't really have anything to do this. So they can drop, MIBR can drop their own smokes and then try to spam through it. And that's exactly what Artsine does. He gets 3 on the round. MIBR get their second.
And this is an MIBR that's looking really confident right now. The first map, it was what it was. Second map, they had full control over it. It took them a while to close it out, but they got the job done. And now, after that thrifty round that they won, to follow it up with a round like this, great work from the side of MIBR.
Yeah, very clean.
I'll take
enemy spotted B. Very, very clean. And I think that will likely continue to be the approach. And that's how you've seen the meta develop on Sunset. Drop the smokes, spam through it. It's like Pearl all over again.
Yeah. Nightmares of that map. Wonder when that's going to come back around.
Les 1 away from his ult. Artsine has his. And again, MIBR exploring the middle of the map here.
Trying to bait out any type of utility. They're waiting for proactivity. They're waiting for a trap to be set. For good reason. You see 5 members now of Loud geared up and ready to fight in this middle of the map. Nice little jiggle there from Liazi. Gets info on 2 members trying to fight. That should be the cue to take some space on the extremities. That's why you see B main gathered. You see a prod going up A main. All at the moment. Yeah, this has been the story, by the way, of even last map. Paula besting Sadhak in the head-to-head duelist battle. Sadhak had, what, 4 kills?
You mentioned, too, some of these ults in the situation that they're currently in. Rich is 1 away from his ult. He's gone exploring so far up mid here. And the smoke to deny on the other side. He should... Oh, he's going back in for the fight. He had safe passage out. But instead tries to deal with Loud on the other side of the smoke and falls because of it. Paula able to steady the shots onto Pencata, cleaning him up. 30 HP. But they've gotten so much of an advantage already.
Yeah, and already 3 members playing out, leaving Paula to his devices. If he can get another kill, he's got a job well done. Oh, I say that. There's a little flank here. Battle of the flanks. Paula cannot connect. Now everyone's smothered into B main.
They might be comfortable here. The problem is they're kept so far away from the defuse. Les is making a lot of noise. Still snaps on Artine. That's a ridiculous shot.
Disgusting.
Mazine has to go forward. You have to deal with Les. You cannot leave him back here. And Les stays up. Kawanzine cleans it up. The defuse will come through. A great round from Loud.
That was ridiculous from Les and Kawazine. Cleaning up the round. Tui's was just there just for support, cheering his teammates on. Just an extra target to look at. MIBR had full control of this round and it just slipped away. This, I wanted to speak about. That was full prep right there. So convinced that Pencata was playing there. But that initial kill, that head-to-head kill onto Artson from Les, who was tagged by a Cypher camera.
Yeah.
That was insane. He was so precise on that flick.
And so we're tied at 2. A couple of big ults to speak of here. And a little bit of aggression from Loud. Oftentimes we've seen MIBR controlling that area. But this time a paranoia, the ult pop from Sadak, and no target given from MIBR. They don't want to deal with this early aggression. They don't want to deal with this fight.
Gecko Eye will be able to be gathered once more for Tui, so he will have it for the retake on whichever site, if need be. That's a very deep smoke. Wonder if MIBR decided to disrespect this. Oh, this could be deadly. This is all off the jiggle of Pencata. It's going to connect on the 4 members, but
there's a smoke. Paula pops his ult. There's no punish.
But look at the time now.
There's still 50 seconds left on the clock. There's still a lot of time for MIBR to play this out.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of baiting out certain sets of utility.
I think part of the big issue here, too, is that MIBR don't have space anywhere on the map. I think that's the big takeaway. But with the thrash forward, they turn their attention back towards B, and you've got the stack from Loud. You have all of the Cypher utility here. Paula gets, decapitated through a smoke. The swing up from Kamanzine's only going to get one, but they managed to get the spike down. Ardzine on this late flank across the middle of the map, and again, it's another spam through the smoke. It's another dump of utility, but Ardzine's the only one left standing. The snap onto the first is good. It's not planned for him, though. He's got to get active. He's got to try to take this fight down. Tui's, don't give it to him. He's gotten it down to the 1v1, but the defuse already comes through.
Again, these retakes of Loud, they're just too strong, too much for MIBR to handle. I thought that MIBR had a good grasp of how to deal with this, but towards this B site so far, last couple of gun rounds, they haven't been able to convert. And the spam game, they're just seeming to lose it. I feel like if you're gonna want to plant out, you need to have at least a couple members sitting on a Phantom, not that Vandal where the tracers are easily seen,
right,
and you're able to be spammed back. With the way that MIBR are playing, if they actually did make use of the Phantom, they'd probably be winning a lot of these rounds. It's so weird how something that micro can be the difference maker.
That kill that Les got onto Paula there was so free. Just these spams through the smokes again, you're right. That probably needs to be part of the conversation here, is if you know that that's how B's often going to play out, the Phantoms might be the way to go. And so a timeout is called from MIBR. They're just down 1 round here, and they're in this fight. They're in a fight that, I'm going to be honest with you, Dre, I didn't expect it. I think a lot of people didn't expect it, but MIBR have impressed.
Yeah, a lot of people out there, me myself included, I thought this was going to be an easy 2-0 for Loud, especially with the way that Sadak was playing Neon in their last series against EG. But, he's doing a little bit better here. So maybe he is the deciding factor. Les has stepped up big. Kawazine's still doing his thing. From the side of MIBR, Artson, he's been a staple in this attack half so far. Whether it was that Sheriff shot onto Les, his counterpart in B, to start that Thrifty pretty much, open up that B site, or his lurks in mid where he's been getting a lot of value. Even that last round, he killed, what, Pancada top mid on the rotate from A.
It's been very impressive. You just saw a one-way smoke come out from Pancada from B towards A main, but MIBR are already ahead of it. Look at how far up Paula is.
Yeah, Paula's been calling this bluff multiple rounds now, and he has a Vandal there holding all that space. I think they should have a good idea. MIBR should have a good idea that it's the Cypher playing on the A side. It is kind of interesting, though, because Less's utility is so spread. Camera and B main, trip top mid, trip A. That's a nice pick on a player who's been pretty much being a complete menace in the middle of the map. But again, the slow creep up. Now Paula taking yet another step forward.
And he's done so quietly this entire time.
Oh my gosh, if he peeks right now. He's not going to, but my gosh, he would have found a vicious timing.
I really love how patiently he's playing this, so he's not forcing it. He understands that the space that he has gained and the pressure that he can apply is infinitely more valuable. I don't know how Tui's hit that shot, though. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that outlaw is so strong.
Liazi tried filling him behind it. He was greeted by Sadak on the other side. What a mess this has become. The fault line down to Rich, snaps onto Kalanzine anyway. Mazine, nothing but a sheriff. Committing to the TP.
Cancels. Should be heard.
Was it? Pancada's the only one who would have heard it. Mazine playing on the other side of the smoke. There's no tap of it yet. Rich on the swing. He's gotten it halfway. It's gotten down to 1v1. Rich gets the third on the round. It's gonna get MIBR it as well.
What was that, a 2v4?
I think so.
Unreal. Cosmetic stun. Rich holding his ground. In elbow, it wasn't pretty whatsoever. But man, it worked out perfectly for them. And Mazine even just getting a kill there. Look at this. Couldn't quite connect, and then he does this. So confident. Mazine played that really well as well. I mean, the Omen ult could be anywhere. I guess you're right. Maybe they didn't hear him cancel it. And a facepalm from the side of Loud. Rightly so. That's the second Thrifty. But yeah, Paula gets taken out early on there. But the space that he gathered to allow his team to come back
was huge.
To A, that was actually ridiculous.
I mean, it was round defining.
Took both timings.
There's just no other way to put that. This time, there's no early space taken for Paula towards A main. Loud, wise to it. Try to insert Kalanzine off of the fault line. They realize they take some of the space back. And this exchange of utility here has been so oppressive on both sides.
So much utility used from the side of Loud. That should dissuade MIBR from wanting to take any of that space back. Rightly so. Les will be first contact. Doesn't see any players because he was unpeaking at the wrong time. So now MIBR might have a good idea that it's just Les on that B side. They hear the rotations coming out. They're going to cut it.
Kalanzine gets caught. Trying to rotate through. Sadak might as well, and he does.
Nicely called around so far from Mazine. The execution almost flawless. Artisan does get taken out, and all of a sudden,
that's a weapon. That's a rifle upgraded in the hands of Les. They get the spike down, but it's not planned. I mean, it's not planted for Loud. This is really nicely set up from MIBR. Yeah, Les has a weapon, but they're gonna have to be proactive in this if they want to get this round back. The one benefit they have is take a look at Pancada's positioning. But MIBR is so ready for it, so wise to it. They clean him up, and that, I mean, that should secure the round.
Yeah, this is very tough to retake against. Les would have to go nuclear here, but the crossfire is too much, and Rich is looking to disrespect. Paula. So is Paula, the rookies, fired up.
Paula with 3 on the round as MIBR take the lead back. Rich and Liazi both carry an ults into the next round, too. They're set up really nicely.
Ken, this was great IGLing from Mazine. He saw all the utility in the early round. Was able to deduct what the setup might be from Loud, and just that slow creep up mid when they hear the footsteps. That's the affirmation that the calling was correct.
So what do they do with these two ults here? Do they try to end B again? I mean,
yeah, can't go wrong with going B with Breach, Ultimate, and Gecko Thrash. You could pick up that Thrash once again.
Yeah,
this might be a punish on the Les. You better get out of here really quick.
He manages to get past the smoke. Thrash goes out, clears the site. Pancada from up top tried to play that angle over the smoke.
Wow.
Wasn't able to find any success. And they're going to try to funnel out here. They want to take a little bit more space, and they've managed to do so. Look at how far up MIBR are back site. Now giving the space back, but Loud have to invest utility to take that space.
Oh my goodness.
Another clean snap out from Paula. And the Rolling Thunder, forcing Loud back. Forcing them to play MIBR's way. As the smokes come through, Loud realize there's no way for them to really get in this.
They're taking the fight to him right now. MIBR look like they're full steam forward, full confidence ahead, and it's off the back of the rookies. That was a great entry from Paula early in the round. Rich looking confident in the middle of the site, going back and forth. And most of the rounds, they've went towards that B site. They've gotten that spike planted. And it's just been the post plants when they're playing out that they just can't get the spam. This time, they decide to play up, take the fight to Loud. When there's no Omen smokes on the field, it makes it a little bit easier. No Omen flash that you have to deal with.
That's a fight you expect Pancada to win there, but Paula has just been ridiculous.
He's definitely gotten better as the series has gone on.
On his LAN debut, no less.
Yeah, and it's his raise. His raise is actually really good. I feel like on Jett, you know, it's one of those characters, especially on Ascent, it can be so hard to play. Sometimes you just can't get anything working. Defensive side is the only highlight for a lot of players that play Jett on that map. But on this raise, we're seeing him use really good utility. His pathing has been good on the entries. Even the solo like lurk timings that he took at A,
right,
or the solo disrespect through the one way when he was able to get that Sheriff headshot onto Tui's, catching Loud off guard. These are all good signs in a duelist that's up and coming. He really has no fear.
Yeah, he looks really comfortable. And I think that was the expectation as we started to hear these rumors of who MIBR was going to pick up in between stage 1 and stage 2. There were a lot of questions around these two names. And really for good reason, but Rich has been steady. He's been solid. He's been fine. Paula has impressed.
Yeah. Such a hard role to play against in this league. Specifically, so many good duelist players. Jajamo, Aspas. To put your name up there with the greats, something to be said. And he definitely has something to prove.
A little bit of early aggression from Loud, and it's off of a punish too. It's really nice. The fault line out from Kawanzin. Sadak takes the space, gets a kill with the stinger, and then gets out.
Yeah, and now this should paint the picture for Loud. Oh, no way! I actually don't think that they know you can crouch under that camera. Otherwise, they would have committed onto that.
Sadak has popped his ult. Artsine is playing across the middle of the map. I thought he was going to catch a timing into market. You got to be cautious here. Again, Artsine's in a really good spot. The wall goes up. The spike's still not fully committed.
But what was that from Tui's just standing in the open?
Les is so caught. The paranoia hit him, but they still haven't cleared it. They haven't gotten out on A yet.
Yeah, because they have all of B. They're going back.
And again, it was Artsine who not only held mid, managed to take market, and now he's going to be the one to cut off the rotations. He's in a really nice spot here. But I wonder if you expect him to get active, because if he's too patient with it, he's going to botch this whole thing. Manages to get less, tries to get Pancada and does so. 3 on the round for Artsine as MIBR get to 6.
Another great round called by Mazin. And Tui's, he got caught just in the open, running through basically screens area here. Off of a first blood that Sadak got, like, he's just so unaware. No smoke there. Maybe it faded.
Yeah.
A miscommunication from Pancada.
Yeah, nothing to cover elbow. You're right.
Yeah, not letting him know that there's a gap right there. And I feel like right now we're seeing a Loud that is feeling an immense amount of pressure. On a series that, you know, a lot of teams themselves probably thought was going to be easy breezy.
Again, early aggression out from Loud. They're doing a decent job of setting up Sadak with Kawanzin's utility. We saw it in the previous round. We saw it here as well, and he gets his one, but this time not able to get out.
Yeah, and when you're even numbers, it usually tends to favor the attacking side when you go 1-for-1 like this. Too many spots to hold. You're kind of spread thin. That's why you see a 1-1-2 right now on the minimap.
Meanwhile, MIB are quietly heading back towards B, quietly heading back towards the 1. And yes, there's Cypher utility kind of littered across the site, and Les is close by.
Oh my gosh, the late Cypher ultimate. And look at this, Artson on the minimap. I know there's a lot of players geared up towards B right now, but he's just taking all of elbow control.
And they're just really, they're giving up A entirely.
Wingman's down.
They have some presence B, but Rich making a lot of noise, trying to manipulate rotation, trying to draw him back into B, while the rest of MIBR hits A.
Sadok's right into this. So is Les getting that kill in the mid.
And now they're going to understand where the hit is headed. The paranoia is really nice. Can Artsine swing and punish? No. Dissuaded by the fault line, dissuaded by the wingman.
So awkward right now.
MIBR, they've met resistance every step of the way here. Every single area of the map they tried exploring was shut by Loud.
This time, Mazin overcooking for sure. But a good read from Sadhak and the rest of the members of Loud to just hold their ground and not give in to running around the map like they did in that previous round, where MIBR basically made them run in circles and closed it out.
That kill that Les got, you mentioned it while it happened. It was a spam through the smoke, but that unlocking the ability for him to ult secured everything. Because up until that point, there was complete paranoia, zero awareness of where they were playing on the other side. It was very nicely done.
It's a tough spot to be in, and they made it work.
Right there.
That early Cypher ult from the side of Artson gave full info on the setup of Loud.
Remember, the fault line has been often coupled with the Neon dashing forward and getting a kill and then getting out. This time, not the case.
It's all feint. They're trying to punish the walk-up of Artson on the opposite side of the map.
Spike dropped.
Multiple players jiggling. You're going to see an Omen Paranoia come out if Artson decides to take a step forward. As this is all happening, the same thing is happening on the other side of the map. A little bit of a body block.
MIBR can punish this really nicely, understanding they have a timing window. That doesn't connect, but Kellenstein does. What a shot.
I can't believe he sticks around and stays there when there's a raised rocket on the board.
Yeah, and you hear both satchels pop. There's a lot of confidence there. And speaking of confidence, Les recklessly swinging into another. Mazin and Artsine left alone. Les is weak, yeah, sure. But they're just going to get picked apart. And a situation just went from bad to worse for Artsine, somehow managing to get another kill, but Tui's has gotten the defuse to 75% already. He can hold this the whole way.
A nice retake from Loud. Kawazin, that kill on the rocket. That's crazy. He stuck around for so long. He was so confident he was going to hit that shot.
And I love how decisive MIBR were with it. They saw the fault line come out at the very beginning of the round. They knew that Les was close by because they'd seen him, so they understood there's a timing that we need to hit here so that we can get out onto B. It was just Kawazin hitting that ridiculous shot.
Yeah. I mean, to just stay there when there's a rocket on the field, like imagine if Paula just does a little jump right there looking towards Market. Yeah, he's probably going to kill Kawazin.
Yeah, he's dead for sure. So right before we hit the last round of the half, MIBR will call a timeout. Let's see what they can adjust as we tried to close this thing. The last round of the attacking side for them. They've looked really good. They've looked very confident. I think a lot of the calling has been really impressive for MIBR. Some instances where, yes, maybe they've overdone it, but I think by and large, it's felt like Mazin is matching Sadok as far as calling every step of the way.
Yeah, he's called a great half so far, and it's really been the battle of the Cyphers, and I feel like Loud these last couple of rounds have kind of understood that, and they're not really letting Artson get away with that crazy amount of lurk pressure or finesse that he's been able to do for, you know, those 4 rounds in a row that MIBR ran away with.
Doesn't seem, oh, actually, Loud might be doing some of this early aggression again. Kawazin, 4 from Loud, excuse me, currently posted up A, and that's the look right there. As the fault line goes out, Sadok dashes in, then dashes back out. But they're able to get the orb into Kawazin's hands, who now has the Rolling Thunder online.
And that's why they're so willing to give that B site. Yeah, Les is the first point of contact here. He's going to try to get a pop shot and probably get out.
Oh, I didn't think they'd pull the trigger on this so fast, and they've hit all four as both Dizzies go up. MIBR falls. What a slaughter across the middle of the map. Our team tried buying his time in the cage, tried finding comfort and concealment in it, and it was all for naught. What a strike from Loud. And it was all set up from the very beginning, the fault line into the orb, into the most decisive moment. 6-6 at half.
That was so sick. Full setup of Les on B. The moment he makes contact in mid, yeah, that is the key to pull that trigger on that Breach ultimate and just converge on mid. I thought they were going to play a full retake B setup, but why not take the fight to them? They haven't done it once, really. They tried doing it earlier on in the half, but no one was there. This time, multiple members of MIBR there, and they get punished.
I think there's a lot of question about how much fight there is in MIBR in the face of a hit like that. How do they respond? We'll let the desk answer that.
Well, clearly there's a ton of fight in MIBR as they're currently up right now in this one. But look, we got to, address just as we did for map 2, we got to address it again here. This is some messy gameplay that we're seeing.
It's muddy VALORANT.
You know what? I'm not mad about it, though. Sometimes you got to get in the mud, get in the trenches.
Look, we've got insane late rounds. MIBR are running like fakes every single round, but there was some mess here, like popping this breach ult with tons of space from Loud, but they have their own Omen smoke that blocks it off. It was very strange, yet they go on to win the round.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good call from MIBR. It felt like every round on this attacking side, MIBR was finding the right gap, playing these slow mid rounds, getting into a post-plant situation, but it really came down to if they could win the post-plants. And this was an issue throughout the series, I think. Post-plants are one of those things that take a while to drill. You have to have between your teammates who's peeking what angle, and that's looking
Why? We don't need to show this.
I'm just saying.
It's not relevant.
I'm just saying, guys,
You admitted you didn't believe it. This would be a ridiculous upset. Remember the record for Loud against Brazilian teams. 24-0.
Yeah.
And MIBR have a good half here.
Yeah, a very, very good half for them. But the question is, can they close it out, though, Ander?
I genuinely think so. Like, I don't know.
Is there anything that is telling you that they wouldn't be able to?
No rounds make sense, Golden Ball. Like, literally, every round, like, even a round they win, like the last one we showed, they're down in a 3v5, and they're winning fights while full stunned on 2 different players. It's silly.
If they were to win here for Loud, I think it would have to be, again, some of these individuals that have stepped up. Tui's, Cowanzine, those guys in the late round have been electric for this team on both maps. That's how they got away with winning out on Ascent. They also, I think, have to start strong. Win a pistol here. They got ecoed to start that first half. Loud has got to step things up if they want to stay in this game. It's critical for their playoff chances.
Loud have been 24-0 against Brazilian teams, but after this, the streak could be over. Let's send it back over to your casters.
Thank you so much, guys. I want to very quickly draw us back to something Mimi said at the very end there. Getting ecoed after winning the pistol was so devastating, and for MIBR, that's been a large part of their success. They've had 4 so far.
That's ridiculous.
In this series, yeah. And for something like that to hit potentially here in the second half where Loud are fighting for playoff hopes would be devastating. We'll see if MIBR are able to pull something like that off on the defensive side. So far, Loud with the advantage. Sadak getting the opener.
That was quite the opener as well. IGL v IGL. Sadak just absolutely decimates Mazin. And now you have full advantage. Group up. Hit a site.
There.
Very fundamental stuff right now from the side of Loud.
Yeah, situation ripe for reset. Dash path out towards B. Should be able to get the spike down as the trips are cleared. The space is gained. The advantage is leaned into it. Seems like it's not getting any better for MIBR. Sadak seems to be coming online, seems to be coming alive.
If he keeps this up, he's making a statement. Oh, he gets dropped down by Liazi, but he did a very good job so far.
I mean, he did his job as a Neon. He gets to 2 kills. He tries to deny some of the space. He forces MIBR back, while the rest of Loud take a step back, assume their post-play positions, and now the spam begins. The tap comes through. It hasn't gotten to half yet as Rich has struggled. Guarding, oh, it's not going to do it, but Loud settle things as MIBR tried to take the fight to them. And the setup was there. Rich drops the wingman. MIBR turned their attention to fight towards Loud, and it was just not enough.
Yeah, the numbers advantage was 2 in favor of Loud at that moment. Sadhak put his team in a great spot. Oh, that's a crazy kill. This one is even crazier. One taps Artson, who's been phenomenal this map. Even the last map is a big factor of the reason why MIBR won that Lotus. Now, you mentioned it. If Loud let this one slip away, it would be absolute disaster. And this was the guy that opened it up the last time around. Can't connect.
At least not yet.
You see how scared Loud are to lose a round like this.
And they're gonna have to wait out this one way. And then strike. Meanwhile, Liazi still has his fault line up. So off of contact here, this could be devastating. Also keep in mind, Rich is kind of joining the fray. You see him rotating over. There's the fault line, but the stun. Wow. Oh, but the stun's the other way. So Mazin's able to punish Kamazin. Sadhak tries to dash out, but he's paranoid. This is really nice from MIBR. Again, I know there's still a lot left to do, but this is ugly already.
And numbers in favor right now for MIBR.
I mean, look at the health. Look at the health on the side of Loud.
I was going to say that Raise nade could clean up a lot of these weak players on the side of Loud.
Oh, and they're going into the stack.
And there's full breach utility on the board too, and they're running into him. This could be actually ridiculous if there's a 5th eco round.
Left. 4 members here, 30 seconds left. Not a lot of time to figure it out. Less falls, but 2Es. Ever the steady hand for Loud. Swings things back their way. Meanwhile, for MIBR, no real opportunity to upgrade a weapon, so they're going to have to stick their pistols in. It very well might be enough. Sadhak falls, 12 seconds left. The spike still not planted, still not committed. 2Es gets 4. Can he clean this up on his own? Pankata's around. He gets the last. That was so dangerously close to being disgusting.
Disaster avoided for Loud. 2Es stepping up huge. 13 and 6. That was all him. Pankata, he was too weak to really support that much. He got those 2 entries. And then these 2 at the end. Liazi getting a little too anxious, going for that jump peek. I don't know. Sometimes the classic right click, it hits. But this time around, not a single bullet connected.
I mean, that had all the makings of a mess.
Right.
But no real time to think about it, no time to dwell.
Wow, what a great job dodging that from Sadhak. Don't expect mechanics like that out of this guy.
Meanwhile, Paula satcheling back forward to try to take the fight. Liazi spamming through the wall, Sadhak down.
He does all that work, ducking and dodging all this utility, and then he just gets spammed through a smoke. That's the most Valorant stuff I've ever seen.
2Es with the Sheriff. He's got the spike in hand currently.
Thought that was going to be a really good breach. Set piece of utility, but actually doesn't reach far enough to push out Paula into the open. So not fearful of that fight. Now a reset to the round. It was B main space gathered while all that was happening. Pankata's really deep into B main. And it will be a market split less. Has an idea that there might be someone here in the lurking.
Mazin managing to get away, avoiding the thrash, staying alive. But he's playing really far back. Meanwhile, Artzin's up kind of by himself here.
He's pretty split right now, this flash. Oh, he dodges it, but he gets dropped anyway. Less so quick.
And now the paranoia being invested by Pankata towards spawn. They've gotten the real estate. They got what they needed here. And now they can take a step back. Now they can play towards their utility. Now they can play towards spamming through smokes.
MIBR doing a good job of taking space early on pretty quickly, but this Raise nade is not going to get value, something they are probably going to wish they had once they identify no one's playing in the actual site.
Oh, I like the way Les is going about this. A reflank in towards mid. So while MIBR are focused with trying to deal with the spam through the smokes, Les can strike when the moment's right, or Counting can clean it up on his own. But the defuse came through, they stuck it!
Oh, got killed at the last second. They almost stuck it. It looked like they were about to.
I mean, that was the narrowest of margins.
Yeah, that was close.
I thought that bar was all the way full.
So far, Loud, on these rounds where they get the spike planted at B, they're able to get the spam, something that MIBR couldn't do on their attacking side that well. So I wonder now if there's a change of pace for Loud. Maybe they play a little bit more aggressive on the next post plant. Yeah, that was so close. That's a pretty big watch party from the side of Loud. Nice job, guys. Good support for the squad. And that is the bonus win. That's a big round to win.
MIBR still have a little bit to bring into this round. Rich has a Guardian, Mazine with a Judge. And that's why you see how he's playing right now. He's a little bit further up, playing on the other side of a one-way, and Pancada gets dropped.
It just feels like these are the hardest rounds for Loud. I say that.
Not anymore.
And they quickly bring the round into their favor. Oh.
I don't think Rich stopped running. I'm pretty sure he's still swinging. That's just insane. But again, there's still not enough on the other side. Less with 3 to clean things up as Loud get to 10. And at this round that's coming up, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a slowdown here a little bit here, because for MIBR, this is a must-win round.
Yeah, and some of the rounds have been really close. They're just not going their way right now. The clutch moments are leaning towards Loud. It's been in their favor.
So Loud have been tested. They've been pushed by MIBR. Still searching their first win of stage 1, of stage 2. And just when it seems like they're within striking distance, Loud starts to separate. Starts to create a gap.
I mean, it's been close because of the macro game from both these squads. It's been this back and forth, but now we're seeing the individual prowess and the players of Loud come out on top. They're just on point. Speaking of on point, that one tap was on point. We gotta have a one tap counter for this guy. He's came into the league and he's had at least, what, 4 or 5 in this series?
1 bullet, 1 kill. That's ridiculous.
So many moments from this guy like this so far already. It's kind of crazy.
Note here, Cohen's 1 point away from his ult. Seems like they're going to try to split. We've got a lot of space mid here. And they can just push into the smoke and continue to go if they want to. Mazine, wise to it, takes a step back.
Yeah, just less slowly and methodically clearing out this market area. They're going to explode off of this trip.
Paul has to be careful. Stunned. Rocket hits it onto Les. Preemptively pulling the trigger, but not understanding there's another one on the other side. Tui's not striking. Paula punishes 3 on the round for him. What a round from this kid.
4 to close it out. Nice connection. He's heating up right now, just in time for MIBR.
And I think part of the conversation we were having earlier was around how it felt like Loud were starting to create separation, and honestly, it was off the backs of their heroes. It was off the back of Les. It was off the back of Cohen's to create this gap, and that's what you would expect out of your stars. But MIBR have a star in the making of their own. That's a big round from Paula.
Yeah, just picking one side or the other this time. Taking these fights, cleaning up the round. Great work from Paula into that.
And that was a must-win round. So for the kid to execute is very impressive.
Convincingly, too. Now, MIBR have a chance to start building up some type of economy. But this is a very fast timing in mid from Les. He hasn't really been doing this.
Clears the trip mid. No response from MIBR. You look at the minimap.
Wow.
Not really reacting. Meanwhile, the paranoia out towards B. Also note the ults that Loud have.
Very fast set play. And yeah, they don't have to invest that breach ultimate. This in the post plant with how they've been already playing them, it's going to be disastrous for MIBR. How do you deal with this? You kind of have to go out with the first layer and not get punished by it. Or it's so hard to execute that.
Or just draw it out as early as you can and then reset. The problem is they don't really have enough of the tools of their own to do that.
Yeah, they're taking way too long here. Everything rests on the hands of Paula on this flank.
Oh, he gets caught by the trip. And Sadok's able to hold the line. Rich will fall. There's the Rolling Thunder that we were talking about. As Sadok was a little bit too far up. Punished by Mazine. A 3v3 for the round, and now the spam starts. Liazi, he's gotten it to half. He's not moving an inch. Oh, it stops again. So close. Mazine is too far out of the play. We've had too many of those. We've had way too many of those.
Loud are unstoppable on this B site post plant. And when you give all that site for free like that and they're able to work with full breach utility, Kawazine still had his fault line available. He didn't even have to invest the breach ultimate right away. It's just too much to deal with. And then, yeah, they just fall back on the spam at the end of the day. It's been working for them every single time. Why not?
That's so hard to deal with. If you don't have anything to really disrupt the spam on the other side of the smoke, there's a good chance you're going to lose it. Unfortunate way that plays out.
I mean, the B-side has been the name of the game all series long for Loud. This time, there's not too many players of MIBR to reciprocate, so that info gathered in B main, it's all for naught for Loud.
Now MIBR with Rolling Thunder of their own. Rich has his Thrash.
He's got to be careful here. He might get punished.
Oh, they've got a little bit of help over the top. Liazzi still has his fault line. As soon as the flash comes up, he knows he has to take a step back. And there are reinforcements. If Loud overcommits this could be a problem. Meanwhile, active denial of space from Artzine, starting to creep up mid.
He's going to hear all this commotion. Is Kawazine aware? He is not.
Oh, no. What? Only gets one, though.
But it was right on target. How did the bullets not connect?
This gives Loud so much more space. They were trapped. But it just wasn't enough. And now the paranoia out towards B, intended to manipulate rotations back that way, while the rest of the spike, while everything else on the side of Loud goes A.
It's all up to Rich and his devices here. He's all alone.
He's got a Thrash, but nope. Whoa, okay.
That's a great kill.
That's a massive start. If he can play his life, if he can stay alive, this is big.
Almost converts onto less.
Now Loud with so much more comfortable of a spot to navigate. They invest the Rolling Thunder with 10 seconds left. Spike not down. He's got to commit to this here. Is there anything to disrupt? That Aftershock looks like it was going to be enough, but it's not. Tui's falls. They managed to get the spike down to 2v2. Mazine and Liazzi have to go forward. Pancada falls, left alone. 70 HP. The swing up from Liazzi is beautiful. That's MIBR, stay alive.
What a wide swing from Liazzi right there. And then Mazine as well on the retake, coming through lane, getting that one tap on the first player and elbow. Great work. But honestly, Rich, look at the second shot. The crosshair's right on the head. It just doesn't connect because Tui's turns his head a centimeter. But yeah, a must-round win, and they get it. They're still in it right now. That was a one tap as well from Mazine.
Love a good fraud pop-off after a round.
And all of a sudden, the ult economy is in favor of MIBR.
They've navigated the toughest part of closing this out, is getting past all those ults that you just mentioned. You're absolutely right. And so now MIBR with that advantage, Paula falling in a duel that has often gone the way of the new kid.
Yeah, and that's a duel that he's been willing to take all half long. This time, Sadhak, he's ready to punish it. And it's going to be an insta speed up B. Every single time they've gone B, they've converted the post plant. Artzine has to come up huge here. He has to make something out of nothing.
I think the big difference here, though, is that Rich has his ult. They have something to disrupt the post plant. They have something to disrupt the spam. But if they all crumble before they even get to that point, it's not going to matter. And now the Thrash is used from so far back. Artzine falls. Liazzi, yeah, I mean, Liazzi has to make a play here. It seemed like they had an advantage. They had the conditions to make something of this. And they fall apart. Loud gets to series point.
And I was saying it was Artzine that had to make a play there. Instead, it was Mazine who wanted to take things into his own hands, but he drops before that Thrash is able to come. And all of a sudden, just like that, Loud are on match point, and you don't have a Thrash to work with. That was such an early peak from Mazine. He went way too early. And these post plants from Loud, this time they played way more in. That's the change. They didn't all play out. So maybe that's why Mazine jumped the gun a little too early. He was so used to it just being Sadhak on site alone.
Being free space.
So many micro things that Loud, they're able to change because of their repertoire.
And now look at the buy for MIBR, man. It's abysmal. But again, 4 Thrifties throughout the series. Maybe another here.
That would be ridiculous.
The most pivotal, the most important. They have 3 members of Loud who have already crept up towards mid. The spike's not even currently at hand. If they can create enough space, it's scooped up by Pancada, and then they can end wherever they want.
Yeah, but they're doing a great job of keeping 3 players. Hey, I guess they're going to rewalk it anyway.
Les has already gotten ahead of the smoke. Rich has to be careful. What? He connects. Now they slow down.
These rounds for Loud. They get so dicey. They get so shaky.
They have to leave Sadak here, or else it's a weapon upgraded. So he puts the wall up, draws enough attention to at least have a couple members here. But look at MIBR. They're a step ahead of this. Liazi's already out. Paula's already out. And that paranoia is going to confirm their suspicions. They were right about their guess.
30
the
seconds
spike
left.
is headed B.
I feel like if they allow this spike to be planted, though, it's not going to do them any type of favor. The double flash play, it connects, but doesn't.
They haven't committed to the spike yet. Tui's on the tap. The falling comes through. 13 seconds left. Numbers the way of MIBR, but control the way of
10
Loud.
seconds left.
Not committing. Every single flash attempting to be turned as Mazine has gotten a couple. The satchel out from Paula, and that's another round the way of MIBR. It might not have been a traditional thrifty, but the outcome is the same.
Oh my goodness. MIBR and these thrifties, the mechanical talent on this team, it's definitely showing. So many good things to see from MIBR right now.
Third eco of the map.
Bro, this Bucky shot was ridiculous. This I understand. It makes sense.
Yeah, this is a mess.
MIBR was ahead
Yep.
in that aspect, but that Bucky entry from Rich, that was truly it.
And again, we've got to give credit to Mazine there on the calling because Sadok's wall goes up A. They understand there's some pressure, but they rotated away ahead of it. Now Arzine's already fallen, but look at Paul's position. One, not able to find a second. And so now Loud can venture forth towards B with confidence, with numbers advantage again, but is this something they let slip?
Spike
A
planted.
3v3 now, the spike planted. And again, no big ult to cause
Resh is
chaos. It's really just in the hands of Mazine. Can he get the best of Tui's here? Tui's who's been electric all series. Patiently waiting with Crosshair trained. It's heavy. The bullet goes just a bit wide. And now the paranoia out. A thrash in his face. It's got to connect here, and it does. That's going to be the end of Mazine as Rich has gotten it to half. Can Rich and Liazi do it on their own? There's just not enough. There's not enough room for them to breathe. There's not enough space for them to sit comfortably on this. It's gotten down to one. Liazi's gotten 3 on the round. There's just not enough time. They played it beautifully. They played it perfectly. They stuck to their guns. 25-0 as the Kings of Brazil stand tall.
And that was hard fought. MIBR, they were no slouch today. Paula, he showed signs of greatness from a rookie. So many first bloods. He had a rough game on that jet, but on Raze, he looked superb. But it wasn't enough to take out Loud today.
But man, did they push him.
They did.
Loud got
50 rounds.
Loud got tested. Man, they got tested in a big way. Mazine's calling was something special. Oftentimes getting the best of Sadak. I think you mentioned it, Paula. There's a lot of reason for excitement there. But Loud, when you're running for a playoff spot, when you're pursuing a chance to compete at champs, it doesn't matter if it's pretty, it doesn't matter if it's ugly. And so Loud can take a winner's bow, regardless of how that went down.
You just got to get there. That's half the battle. Once you get there, that's a whole nother one. Good work closing out the map. It was those B post plants that sealed the deal and was the nail in the coffin for this MIBR squad who, at a point of this game, looked like they might take it away.
I think there was real threat. There was real possibility that the strike was over, that the record was going to be broken. But Loud managed to navigate it. And honestly, you know, it doesn't really matter when you have a team who's going on a run like this. You're gonna have wins like that.
Yeah. And you got to grind them out.
Yeah, and who knows if the run will end that way. There's still so much Valorant left to be played. There's still so much of the season left to be figured out. But for Loud, that's a big step and a desperately needed one. 2-4 going into that series. Potential hopes of I mean, playoffs could have been lost here.
Yeah, that would have been disastrous too. Not seeing Loud in Shanghai was already rough. Not seeing them at champs, that's a whole nother level that we have not witnessed yet.
And they would have had to have navigated playoffs. They somehow managed to stay alive. They get pushed and tested by their Brazilian foes, and it just was not enough. Let's send it over to Elizabeth down on the stage with Les for the Verizon post-match interview.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I am here with one of the kings of Brazil, Les from Loud. A 25-0 that streak that continues with the defeat of MIBR. Parabéns, congratulations.
Obrigado.
The first thing I want to ask you is, what is your mindset against playing against a team like MIBR that is, 0-6 in the season, is going through roster shuffles? What is the discussions beforehand, and what is your, personal idea and calculation of playing against MIBR?
Como é que é a cabeça de vocês para ir num jogo contra a MBR, do jeito que eles estão? Eles sofreram com problemas com o roster deles. E principalmente você, o que você sente enfrentando um time como eles?
Cara, eu sinto que quando a gente enfrenta eles, realmente a gente tem que dar um stomp, porque eles são um time que eles ferraram muito mesmo. Aposto que eles não tiveram mais de 5 dias de treino assim juntos na mesma área. Então a gente era realmente favorito. Eles conseguiram realmente tirar o mapa nosso, eles jogaram muito bem. Individualmente eles estavam muito bem, realmente. Mas taticamente dá pra ver que eles estavam um pouco atrás, porque realmente nem conseguiram treinar direito.
We gotta go with them, against them with some kind of stomp. We know that they didn't have a lot of time to practice, maybe 5 practices or less. But we know that individually they're doing very well, but as a team, they still have a lot to go through.
My second question for you is, to be completely transparent, the desk and the casters today were very critical of how Loud played today. Said it was, a little bit messy, just not quite the Loud we're used to seeing. In your estimation, how do you think you guys played today?
Os apresentadores foram um pouco críticos do jeito que a Loud estava jogando hoje, que estavam meio um pouco zoado ali. O que você acha do que foi o jogo hoje?
Eu concordo sim com o feedback. Eu acredito que esse jogo, a gente ganhou o pique deles na Ascent, a gente fez um bom jogo e a Lotus era o nosso pique, a gente devia só ter mostrado o nosso jogo, destruído eles e terminado um jogo mais fácil. Então realmente não foi um exemplar jogo nosso.
Yeah, I agree with them. We lost one of our picks, so we should have played better there. So I completely agree with them.
I thank you for your honesty. I talked to SDK earlier, and he said he wants to work on your confidence as a team. Point blank, are you confident in Loud?
A gente conversou com o STK antes do jogo, no meio do jogo, e ele falou que quer trabalhar na confiança de vocês. Você tá confiante na Loud?
Eu tô quebrando geral, eu tô confiante.
I'm going for it. I'm super confident.
Love it. I love to hear it. Well, congratulations, Les. Thank you so much. Give it up for Les one more time, everyone. A wonderful performance. We're going to take a bit of a break, but I know you know what game is next. It's Leviathan versus 100 Thieves.
Line's been drawn. They're picked to pieces.
Cloud9 are so good.
ways. Don't you see the mess you made? Yeah, I'ma hit the road, babe. Yeah, I'ma hit the road, babe. I think we need to go our ways. Don't you see the mess you made? Yeah, I'ma hit the road, babe. Yeah, I'ma hit the road, babe. I think we need to go our ways. Don't you see the mess you made? Yeah, I'ma hit the road, babe. Yeah, I'ma hit the road, babe. Don't you see the mess you made? Yeah, I'ma hit the road, babe. Yeah, I'ma hit the road, babe. I think we need to go our ways. Don't you see the mess you made? Yeah, I'ma hit the road, babe. Yeah, I'ma hit the road, babe.